the engine guard, got it up on a stand, and what did we do next? I think we started working on the rear of the bike.
Yeah, so we dropped the rear wheel out, got to the swing arm, and then we started working on the link plates and rear shock. So that's the first sort of job with the suspension. We went for level 2 kit on yours. We do offer a level 1 and level 2. Level 1, it's no less quality than level 2. The reason we do it is because a lot of people want to keep the OEM seat height of the bike, whereas the level 2 kit raises it 25mm front and rear.
Yeah.
Like I said yourself, I think you're about 5'8" on a good day, and the level 2 is just sort of on the border for you, but there are some riders that would like a bit more of a flat foot. You're fairly experienced on taller bikes, so it's not so much of a problem for yourself.
Okay, so level 1 and level 2 are, there's no difference in quality, it's about ride height. When we were stripping them down, it was quite obvious to see that what we were taking out was very different to what
basic.
we were putting in.
Yeah.
So what were we taking out and what were we putting in?
So starting from the rear end, I mean, all our suspension kits have been developed alongside Tractive. They're a great company in the Netherlands, really experienced guys, and their stuff is really sort of top quality, especially even down to the engineering and machining on their parts. You can just hold it and you can feel the quality there. A lot of the components we now machine in-house in the UK, so that's in Rallyway HQ, we do all that ourselves. And we get a great control by having it in-house over quality and sort of the finish of everything, so we can ensure that everything's looking good. So with the rear shock, the actual unit we took out from the Honda, the standard Honda, was very basic. There's no adjustment. It's a pressed sort of steel construction shock. I think it weighs about 4.5 kilos, which is a fair heft of a shock. And in replacement of that, we put the Tractive level 2 shock. Your particular one has a piggyback reservoir, so there's an external oil reservoir for the shock.
What does the oil do? Why do you need oil? What's good about having oil in this kind of suspension?
Yeah. So you've gone from a fairly basic sort of pressed steel construction spring. There's no real damping or any controls on it. The Tractive one we put in, it's an aluminium body spring, so you've got high speed, low speed compression dampening through valves on an external reservoir. You've got rebound control. Your specific shock has been fitted with a preload adjuster as well, so you can remotely from the front of the bike adjust your preload, which is great for luggage, you know, sort of carrying pillions and different terrain.
So on that, so I'm not, when you start talking about preload and adjustments and all that kind of stuff, I assume that's for like the Dakar guys who are kind of wanting to kind of put in good lap times and all the rest of it. But the interesting thing that we were talking about earlier is I might be riding this bike with no luggage, and then the next day I might put loads of luggage on, and that's going to change the weight on the bike. And so I guess being able to very easily adjust the suspension compensates for that.
That's it. Like I said, being able to get on the day decide sort of what weight you're going to carry, and like you're not in a competition sort of area with this bike, but being able to be comfortable on the trail, knowing that your bike's sort of balanced and set up exactly how you want, it's going to make your day more enjoyable.
What do I need to do? Do I need like kind of fancy tools to change it? You know, this is not the exact one that's on my bike, but it's a similar principle.
So this is a 310 shock with the actual preload adjuster on it is the same as your CB. The difference with having preload and no preload is night and day on a shock. So you've gone from something where you have no adjustment whatsoever, and now you've got 4 different types of adjustment, so you can really get the shock going well. This is a hydraulic preload adjuster developed by Tractive in the Netherlands, and how this works is you're forcing a capacity of oil into a large piston, quite a shallow piston here. Instead of manually winding on a preload nut like you would on a traditional shock, you simply start turning this knob here, and at a rate, quite a gentle rate because it's a high pressure system. This you've got up to 10mm of preload straight off here. The one on the CB that Greg has is actually on a remote reservoir down by the front of his bike, so he doesn't even have to get off the bike to do it, which is quite impressive. It's just one of the best things about it I've found is you don't damage your shock every time you want to change the preload on a 690 or a bike that has a traditional sort of adventure shock or off-road shock in it. You end up having to use the preload ring, and it's quite a job. There's not a lot of space in the frame, but this just makes it so much easier.
So from my point of view, what I understand is that we have a knob with a plus and minus, and I can turn it one way or the other way, and if I turn it towards the plus way, it's compressing the spring, so making it a firmer ride.
Yeah.
And if I want to back it off, I just turn it towards the minus side, and it's releasing the tension on the spring a little bit and making it softer. And in terms of what feels better for you, I guess it's just for me to experiment a bit and see what feels good.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, suspension is a bit of a dark art. You have to kind of look at what you want out of the bike, or if something strikes you as, oh, it's kicking me up the back end, you have to kind of have a reason to change the suspension. Some people might sort of get a bike back and start changing things without riding it, but we think it's best just to ride it as it comes. Everything that we sell comes pre-set up to a sort of a neutral level out of the shop. Like they put a couple of 100 miles on it, and then you start noticing, or perhaps this would be a little bit nicer, and having the controls there to sort of adjust those tiny reactions in the bike. Eventually you become sort of proficient in suspension through your own experience with the bike and through the adjustment you have.
Yeah, great.
I mean, you've got the same amount of adjustment on your shock now as you would have on like a full rally bike, which is pretty handy.
Sounds good.